Unmute you. How you doing?
Oh, I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. We got some slow comers tonight. Last week we had like 3 or 4 people waiting to jump on right at 10 o'clock. So uh, we'll see what happens.
All right.
Just to let you know, we're also live on Facebook, so people can see and hear the conversations on here. So if you got any warrants, anything like that, just be mindful because it's about to get funky. Let me see. See Heidi. What's up, Heidi? Malik is in the building. I'm waving these people on Facebook. So if you pull up, Joanne, if you were to pull up Facebook Live, if you were to pull up Facebook and go to my page, you'll see it's streaming on my Facebook page. I figured out how to do that because I'm a boss. I'm a boss.
Yeah, I probably should have put some makeup on. Of course. Because I was telling Amanda and Ro, I was like, I'm going to do a full beat. I'll put the whole lashes. And I just got comfortable on the couch. And I was like, I ain't getting up.
You ain't got to do all
I
that.
have to deal with the nice outfit.
My baby want to come and say hello, so I just want to give her a good night's sleep time for her to go to bed. I don't know why she's down here anyway.
Who?
Good night, princess. My daughter coming to say
Oh, okay.
All right, Shauna's here. Add her in.
Which page am I looking at? There's 2 of them.
My main page. Hey, Shauna, how you doing?
It says, one says Corey Manning, friend, Apollo Theater, and the other one says Page, Boston, Massachusetts.
You want to look at, turn the light on, sweetheart. You look at the page, not page, no, the one Apollo. What's up, Shauna? How you doing?
Hey, Corey.
How you doing? We got
I'm
people as always just jumping in. It's like the line at the club. Everybody show up right before.
I legit was like, ooh, what do I wear? Right? I was like, Corey got this joint set up like we going out. I love it. Buying everything.
Yo, this is gonna be fun. I'm just telling Joanne, who's also on the call right now.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, Joanne.
Hi, Rochelle. How you
doing? in the building. So we got this going on Zoom, but I'm also broadcasting live on Facebook on my page.
Oh,
so,
what up, Facebook?
So I'm multitasking. I'm having a conversation with you all, but I'm also reading the words. My man JP Justice, comedian out of New York, comedian extraordinaire, is online. Linda, Latoya, all of them are listening. So I want to invite them. If you guys want to come on Zoom, just follow the URL and jump on. There's no cost. There's no prerequisite, no password. Just come on up in here and we have a good conversation. I'm excited, man. Yo, I'm excited. I'm excited. What's up, Rochelle? How you doing?
I'm okay.
Okay. So I don't know if you probably know some of these faces because Boston, they but 2 streets.
You know that's right.
You know I don't cross the bridge. I just know you, Corey. Okay. Introduce me.
Well, I'm gonna allow folk to introduce themselves because it's a great segue. So right now, I want to take a chance for us to do our normal list. What we do every week is to do the check-in, just to see where everybody's at. So just feel free. So if you want to, if you know you're gonna have noise in the background, or your kids or your baby daddy gonna bust out at any time during this call, you want to go ahead and mute yourself, and then all you have to do to unmute yourself is either use the key to unmute yourself, or you can just hold down the space bar like you do a walkie-talkie, and it will unmute you while you're talking. And then when you want to mute yourself, you let it go, and then bam, you in there. So let's do the check-in. Who wants to start? Thank you, Rochelle.
I didn't say I was starting.
Yes, you did. You said it. You looked right at the camera and said, "Pick me, Corey. Go ahead." Just tell it. You mute.
Michelle's on mute. She muted.
See how black people.
Rochelle.
Just say who you are. Just give a little background and just a little bit about how your week's been.
Oh, okay, Rochelle. I work in a hospital. I've had the opportunity to work from home for 3 days and then go into the hospital for 2. But I'm fortunate because I don't really interact with a lot of people, so I could sit at my desk for the whole 8 hours and it not be an issue. So I make sure I bring my meals so I'm not like interacting with people. So other than that, I'm chilling, trying to keep it together. Some days are good, some days are bad. You know, allowing myself to be down if that's how I'm feeling, and just not staying there, but keep on going.
That's what's up. Dolores, you want to check
Hi,
in?
I'm Dolores, and I'm a healthcare professional. I'm working from home right now, so just trying to stay safe. Hi, everyone.
Hey there.
Hey, thanks
Hey,
for coming
Dolores.
in.
Hi, Dolores.
I will go, but I'm gonna say you, JP. I'm gonna say you for last, my brother.
Oh, we got a man on?
Amanda's
We got a man this week, and it ain't Corey.
Oh,
There's something else to look at.
Well, thank you, Joanne. Since you sipping on something, since you got your syrup in your hand, why don't you go ahead and check in? Let us know how you're doing.
Sure. So I'm Joanne. I am an office manager for a data analytics company. And basically what we do pandemic modeling. So this is wonderful for us. Right up our alley. We making money. So we just recently launched our new dashboard of the pandemic modeling globally.
We don't need to see that, Justice.
I know y'all don't want to see this because there's a whole lot of red. I am working from home 5 days a week with 2 kids, age 6 and 10. I'm a substitute teacher. I'm the cafeteria lady. I'm the chef. I'm the maid. I'm tired.
I bet.
Tired. And this week I sent the nice little letter to my son's teacher. I'll read it. If Corey allows, I'll read it to you, but it's hilariously funny. But I have a newfound appreciation for teachers like I've never had before. Like I told her literally, come get these kids.
Right?
Come get them.
No, it's a whole new world with the kids. We'll get into it in a second.
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
I want to give Cynthia and Amanda and my man JP. Oh, I gotta let Erica, let these people check in real quick, and then we're gonna get this thing crunk. Cynthia, you wanna go ahead? Just check in. Name, who your field of work, and how you doing this week. If you're up to it. No, we ain't put no pressure on nobody.
Her phone's on mute.
The phone's on mute.
Mm-hmm.
Amanda, why don't you? Let me see if I can unmute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
We can hear you now.
Okay. You know, I'm a little slow with this technical, this technology and stuff, but I am Cynthia. I am a Boston police officer. I have been quarantined in my room. Today is day 14, so I am ready to break the hell out tomorrow.
I bet.
Good. I am blessed.
That's what's up. Amanda, you ready to check in, Amanda? I'm gonna get Amanda, and I'm gonna hit the JP so we get a discussion. Go ahead.
Hello, my name's Amanda Merrick.
I just want to give a little background on me. My name is Corey Manning. I'm a former stripper, and this Corona stuff to really mess the game up for me.
Everything on lockdown now.
Everything on lockdown. I can't do lap dances for the ladies and nothing like that. So
do a Zoom video.
Yeah, but
we don't want to see that.
The kids,
I don't want to see it.
I can't be doing it with the kids. The kids, and I can't make it clap like I used to. That's my specialist side. Do it.
You got too much time.
But Shauna, you was about to see me in a whole different light doing this right here. But I do want to introduce 2 people that's on the call right now, fellow comedians, and just wanted to check in with them. First, I just want to shout out Erica Nolan, who runs the Hilarious Productions, Funny Bone in Connecticut. And thank you so much for having me on the show in January, one of the last shows I had the pleasure of hitting. And then the other cat is a veteran in the game. I am humbled and honored that he jumped in on this joint. And I just want to shout out my man out of New York City, the one and only JP Justice, y'all. BET Def Comedy Jam. He done been on it all. So, thanks for joining us, my man. Are you mic'd? I think it's a delay. I think he's probably listening to the Facebook instead of to the actual Zoom.
He's dancing. He's listening to music.
He's listening to music.
He's on IG.
We can't hear you.
I can't hear you. I gotta unmute him. Let me I can't unmute him. I don't understand. His mic's not on. We can't hear you. Everybody doing sign language. We can't hear you.
Who can for real do sign language though?
He's connected to his audio. I see his audio is connected now.
Oh, here he goes. Now unmute him.
Yeah, hold on.
There you
there
go.
We go.
There you go.
What up, JP?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we
Yes.
good.
You can hear me now, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, you are.
No, my mic is on. I'm looking at the.
Yeah, we hear.
My mic not on. Hold on.
We can hear you. It's on.
Yeah, you can hear me, right? If you can hear me, put a number 1 up. Put a number 1 up so y'all can hear me. Thank you. Thank you. She put 2 up. She put 1 up. She put 1 and 1. Listen, my name is JP Justice. I pressed. What's going on? My name is JP Justice. I make the crackers. I make the crackers for church, and I make the liquor. That's what I do.
Not on Easter weekend, we cracking jokes, huh? Easter weekend. Easter weekend.
There you go.
The communion
yo, man, this is cool, man.
That's what he makes.
These are complete strangers. Hey, strangers, how you doing? My mother told me never to speak to y'all, but
then stop talking.
No, so let me explain to everybody.
And it is a delay. It's a wild delay. Watch this.
You need what you have to do is you have to connect to Zoom and listen to it. The Zoom is live, but the Facebook is going to be like a 2-minute delay almost.
Hey.
But
if I turn that off and just concentrate on this right here, then I don't even have to worry about my Facebook at all. So whatever Facebook sees is what Facebook sees. So I hope I spell my word, say my words right. Hey, people, what's going on? It's your boy JP Justice. Listen, I'm about to bug the fuck out up in this house. It's been about a month. There is such thing as too much family time. There's just too much things I know about my family right now. I need to go outside. I just want to walk. Let me tell you, when this is over, I'm sleeping in the street for 3 days. I don't give a damn. I'm not coming home. I'm sleeping in the street. It's crazy, man. It's actually crazy. But we coping. I'm here with my family and everything, so we good.
That's what's up. So I actually started this. This is maybe the third week.
Hold on, let me see if I can.
This is about the third week of us doing it, right? But the first week I did it was for the comedic audience that was in Providence, Rhode Island. They asked, we normally do a show on nights, the last Friday of the month, the last Saturday of the month. And so I did a live Facebook, but then that went so well that I created the Zoom. And then most of the people who are on the call right now were on that first call. And we had one of my friends who's a doctor in New York. I had invited her on and she shared information about the coronavirus. She answered our questions, which were some great questions. And I learned a lot, some stuff I hadn't even thought about, the things to answer. And from there, I was like, you know what? This is not only good for just to have conversation and socialize, but it's also for me, it was healthy for me. It was mentally, it was a mental outlet for me. And I felt like the same thing happened for the people in the call. So I said, yo, why don't I keep it moving? I invited Shauna to come on to the call today to talk to us a little about taking care of ourselves during this whole thing, but also allowing us the time to share some of the things that some of the things we have done to take care of ourselves, and also to ask her questions. But I'm like JP though. I'm ready to get up out of here, man.
What? Talk to me, bro. Talk to me.
Yo, and it's what really gets me though is I have to stop watching the news because it's so, it's crazy. What I've started doing, I started watching Fox News just so I can feel better about the world. Just so I can feel like I can hear your good things and feel encouraged. Then I turn to CNN or MSNBC to find out the truth. But I start with Fox. That's where I start with. But it can be depressing, but I try not to let that kind of stuff get to me.
Well, here's the actual, before this all started, I didn't really have cable. I just had like 2 through 12, the regular channels. Mm-hmm. But it was so much COVID. They was breaking in the news. They was breaking in TV. I went and upgrade my package just so that I can turn and not have to see the regular stuff. I think they're overkilling it with the media blast. I think that's got people panicking. I think that's the part where people are starting to be like, oh my God. When in actuality, don't get me wrong, it's a very high contagious flu. So don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that it's not dangerous, but the way they keep pumping it, and then they're not telling you the upside, the upswing. Like, I had to actually find out that 2/3 of the people that they admitted in the hospital for coronavirus got sent home. They're okay. You know, they're only letting you know about the death toll and people in ICU and blah, blah, blah. They're not telling you that people are coming home. So this isn't a death sentence. And it's just got the people running around frantic. And that's the part that's what I have to tune away from. You know what I'm saying?
So is that the reason why I can't find toilet paper?
Mm-hmm. It could just be some shitty people in your county. How about that?
It could be both.
Well, I ain't gonna lie to you. I got me a stash.
So do I. Once I finally found it.
I'm talking about I got a stash from the people in the house because hey man, I just got to have my own. But one of the things I did notice that's changed, which is kind of ironic, when they first started talking about coronavirus, they were saying that black people, well, no, I'm just saying people were saying that black people couldn't catch it. And I was like, that don't make no sense to me. I don't understand, but okay, all right. But then now you hear that, you know,
we're dying.
Yeah. Half of the people that's actually that are the deaths are African Americans. But still, like JP said, most of us are catching the virus, but we're coming home. A lot of that due to misinformation.
Did somebody just sneeze?
No.
Oh.
Bless you.
I was like,
don't worry about it. I got a virus protector. I got a virus protection app on the Zoom joint, so we could.
I hope so.
Bless you.
Yeah. But let me tell you, that's taking a whole new look at, like, from now on, when people sneeze in the public, you're gonna see people looking at them like,
yeah, man.
I already had a 2-3 sneeze limit. Now it's 1 sneeze, and you got to get out of my perimeter. You can't be around here, bro.
No, it's going to be worse. I think it's going to be worse than when AIDS first hit, when HIV first hit.
And that's the scare. That's the part that scares.
Because, you know, cats didn't want to go. I got to admit, I changed my sleeping habits, if you know what I mean, after that. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're gonna have to elaborate, brother. Okay.
Oh yeah, I did. Let me
explain. I was
like, wait, what?
I'm like, he went to bed earlier. Okay.
That's what I was thinking.
I'm sitting here going, did you have an extra in that show Pose? I'm like, is he in that movie Pose?
No, it was not a broke back type of moment.
Yeah, you caught me, brother, because I was damn sure like this.
What I'm saying is, I strapped up more regularly and more intentionally after. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ole.
I see you, girl. I see you. Ooh.
So before AIDS, you was just slinging dick.
Just letting it all hang out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I was slinging it.
Okay.
But you were.
But wearing a condom was optional. It was optional.
Yeah. You know. It was
okay.
optional.
You know, if you wash it off, if you hurry up and have sex and go to the bathroom, you can wash the AIDS off. You know that, right?
Yeah, you pour Coca-Cola. If you dip it in a cup of Coca-Cola, if you dip it in,
I might believe that one.
Coca-Cola.
It washes it all off, right? I might believe that one.
That's funny.
But yeah, it's I don't, people talk about they can't wait till it get back to normal. And Erica actually said this earlier when she was on her Facebook Live. I'm like her, I don't really want it to get back to normal, and I don't think it's gonna get back to normal. I think the way we socialize is gonna be totally different. I think
let me ask you this. What is normal after this?
There is no normal.
Thank you.
The world has changed. It's not even just America, it's the world.
I think that this was a great big reset button. The things,
exactly.
First off, I think COVID had many agendas here. It's not just one agenda, it has many agendas. I feel in my heart that this was man-made and it just went out of hand for a little bit, but it has many agendas. It has
many benefits.
Many benefits. First off, they've been showing us this in movies since we were kids. Okay? All the way up to the Avengers when Thanos had to snap and got rid of half the population so that the other half can live. They've been showing us this, you know, it's been in our face for the longest. So we're now living what we call that new world order now. You know, what can they use? What can they use? What can they do at the lowest productivity for the biggest turnover? You know, all these things that you see now, they could have been done this, working at home. The companies that prevail during this time, those companies will last. These companies that are folding, they wanted them to fold. It was a capitalism cleansing type thing. This genocide and this gentrification, they wanted that to happen. These old people that were living way past life expectancy, that wasn't putting back into the wagons, the system, that was living off of insurance and all that kind of stuff because they're old, and because a lot of these old people together had great political power. That was another purpose. You know, it it had many reasons for this to happen like this.
So you don't went Logan Run on them real quick.
my dude. So here in New York, they just signed and they're letting out a bunch of I don't know the classification. Right, I don't know the classifications, but from what my boy was telling me, some of these guys are dangerous guys, but because they can't hold them, they're letting them free. Wow. And I'm saying to myself, you're letting them free to what? Nobody can work. So what are they going to do? So which means petty crime is going to come back, which means we're going to look like animals again. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's getting ready to get crazy out here in these streets.
Yeah, they're doing it up here too.
And they telling us about a second wave coming back. Oh, we're doomed.
But you notice they ain't talking about war now, because everything is shut down. So
no,
we got
they are.
I haven't heard anything about war overseas.
There is a war coming because they were.
No, I'm saying, but recently we haven't heard about it.
They've been talking about Russia knowing the U.S.'s weaknesses with this whole virus thing. So, you know, people are watching. People are watching.
Y'all ain't gonna make me. That's why we got Shauna
being bought, and they were saying how they're tracking what the United States can get, how they're getting it, and even when they're helping out other countries, they're sending someone from their delegation to those countries to see how those other countries are faring and getting things in as well.
Listen, y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop.
Why?
Because
good information.
This is what they've been learning and paying attention to.
Y'all making it feel like the last days of it, please, man.
To my mama, it is the last days.
Listen, because we mess around and the Jehovah's Witnesses are right, ain't but 144,000 getting up into heaven. I'm not gonna make the cut.
He said he's not gonna make it. I can't.
But look, I do want to take the time. I invited Shauna to come on the call to talk to us about self-care, because I think, especially after the conversation we just had, we definitely need it.
Yeah, you washing your penis off with Coca-Cola.
Yeah, that's his self-care.
That is his self-care.
Hey, man, do whatever works.
Corey, I'm so glad that on Monday I'm not going to have to go to the office and see you after tonight's conversation. Because I work with Corey during his non-superhero, non-stripper days. I can't. So to hear this type of Corey, I knew he warned me too. He was like, you're going to see a different side of me. Last week we was talking about a virtual pap smear. Was that last week's conversation?
Yes.
Speaking of which, did you see the meme about the virtual pap smear?
Yes, I did.
Where she's crouched over her laptop?
Yes.
I can't.
Why don't y'all send me that? For real?
Someone send it to Corey.
You gotta send me that. At least you gotta send it to me so I can send it to Dr. Pittman so I can show her that, you know what I'm saying?
I can't.
About when the new gynecologist visits.
Yeah, she might be missing her blessings, man. I'm telling you.
You are such a mess. I will try to find it right now.
Yeah, put it in the comments or the chat. I can't. We want to see the virtual pap smear.
Listen, this is my company laptop. There will be none of that.
Okay, never mind. I'm on my work laptop too.
I'm right there with you. But I wanted to share that. So as Shauna said, Shauna and I do work together. And she's done a lot of work around dealing with trauma, especially with young people and with families. And so as we had our discussion last week and we were going into this week, I was like, wow, it'd be great to have somebody like a Shauna come on board and just have a conversation with us about things that we can do to really try to take care of ourselves, and also suggestions that we can give to others to help them take care of themselves. Because we honestly don't know how long we're going to be on this self-quarantine or this social distancing thing. We don't know what level it's going to be. So these things can be helpful to us. So I'm looking forward to hearing what she has to say. And just like we did last week, we're going to open up for questions for her, and people can share their own experience with it too. All right. So Shauna, you want to?
Yeah. So thank you for having me, Corey. I love seeing this side of you outside of work, and I'm really grateful to meet all the people that know you and all the people that have joined. I think Corey asked me last week to be a part of this conversation because I've been pushing a mindfulness agenda where we work at Youth Build USA. Because right now, this collective trauma that we're all experiencing and this anxiety and this social distancing that's causing like this, isolation to creep in and causing us to do stuff that, we're not really wired to do. Like, we're wired to connect, right? So to be apart from each other can create moments of like despair and distress. And so, with my background in social work, I was like, okay, I have a tool that I know can support myself right now, and more people need to know about it, which is basically mindfulness. We started this conversation and somebody was like, yeah, I, feel sad if I want to feel sad. And that awareness is exactly what we need, right? We bring our attention to how we're feeling, why we're feeling that way, and saying it's okay, right? So that's what I was talking about on Monday, and Corey was like, yo, come check in with my people, create some space. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna do a PowerPoint. And then I was like, no, I'm not. It's Saturday at 10 o'clock. I am not working. Corey is not gonna create more work for me. And I'm so glad that I didn't, because just being a part of this conversation with y'all and vibing and having the conspiracy theories, but also paying attention to the news and trying to piece two and two together is really important. However, we can't give too much energy and time to that, right? Because it could just create this energy that's not needed. And I think a lot of your energy should go to the positive things that you want to do, like taking care of yourself, taking care of your kids, doing your job. A lot of us are working from home right now, and then a lot of us are still going into the office. So I want to thank you guys on this Zoom chat that are still, navigating those streets, because it's scary out there, So Corey, I don't know if you did the poll questions, because I could run my mouth, but I want to engage with you guys. So I sent Corey a couple of questions, and they should be on your screen right now.
Yeah, I was about to say, who put that on my screen? I thought my screen had COVID. I said, somebody put it on my screen.
And the first question is, do you practice self-care? Multiple choice, yes, no, what is self-care? And then the second question, it's real time specific. I'm encouraging you guys to reflect on the last 2 weeks. And if you have practiced self-care before, have you practiced it in the past 2 weeks? Yes. So let's see.
Well, I can't do self-care because my kids are here, and that's usually something that I do when no one's around.
I'm not there yet. I'm not ready for that part yet.
I'm sorry.
Corey, can you share the results? Let's see what the people.
All right. There we go.
Okay, good. I am so happy everyone's practicing self-care. So before we get on to question 2, what are you guys considering self-care? And I guess you could just unmute yourself or put it in the chat, however.
You want the real answer? You want the answer that I'm.
All right, Jay, we can start with you.
Self-care is when you go to your website with your cocoa butter. I don't know what you use, Corey.
Coca-Cola.
Peanut butter.
Coca-Cola. Right? Coca-Cola. We know it.
No, I will say this. We're all older people, so self-care was something that should have been automatic with us at our ages, but this pandemic has definitely made more light to it. So am I now taking that precaution that they're telling me? Yeah, like now I do find myself for no reason just washing my hands off, or I do, you know what I do? I don't use hand sanitizer. I actually got alcohol that I spray into my hand and I wipe into my hands and all that kind of stuff. I will tell you this, we're gonna have some ashy black folk with some chaps.
Right.
You better start using some aloe. You gotta start putting some aloe in it.
Some aloe.
So I have been noticing. And I'm 50 years old. I don't know how old you ladies are, and I don't know how you are, Corey, but it's like now you can almost single out the people that aren't taking care of themselves, because you just say to yourself, my God, bro, you're not gonna wipe your hands? Like even now when you hear what's going on, my God, you're just gonna sneeze out in the open like that? My God, you're just gonna cough out in the open? I guess now that they brought awareness to it, now I'm really looking at people like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
I've been going past the Chinese restaurant, just looking in the window going like this.
Yeah, you know what? All right, who else wants to talk about what self-care looks like for them? Joanne, is your hand up?
I actually meditate.
Meditate?
Like, after I'm done working, because I work for Tufts. So between working for Tufts and seeing what we're doing and caring for my parents who are almost 90, I immediately come home, take off what I have to take off at my front door. We just found out our tenant was exposed and did not tell us.
Oh, no.
So I had direct contact with her within the last week. So I'm waiting to be tested. And I need to meditate because I have to keep my mind focused to take care of my parents.
Yeah.
So being in the healthcare industry and being a healthcare worker, I know what symptoms to pay attention to. So now my mind has to focus on my parents.
Right.
So I try to, just not buy into the hype, not watching the news, because they don't know everything. What brings it, it's invisible, and everything changes at the drop of a dime.
Yeah. How long do you meditate for? How long is your practice?
I just got back into it, so I'm rusty. So I'm trying to do 30 to 45 minutes.
Wow.
But I'm not there where I need to be because everything's running through my mind.
Definitely.
But I'm trying.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing. Does anyone else want to share what their self-care looks like?
Sure. My self-care, Shauna, it starts off, I start my day off with at least a prayer and a verse of some sort. And then I try to listen to positive YouTube videos or things that are firm. I am averaging about 2 miles every other day.
Nice.
I'm running. What else am I doing? I'm probably having 3 or 4 bubble baths a week.
Hey, bubble baths
Listen.
Work.
Just don't put no Coke in there.
Yes.
See, I'm not about that Coke life. I drink soda anyway.
And no palm and Dawn neither.
Palm, you can't use this detergent for
let me tell y'all.
I can't.
I can't either. But I mean, I do the whole setup. I got the music, I got the rose petals, I got the soaps, I have
rose petals.
I'm going in my bathtub and I lock the door.
That's good.
Children are not.
Hold up.
I want to know about the rose petal.
You are not driving out here in these streets to get some roses, are you? You are not.
Yes.
No. So I have these little rose petals. So stupid. I have these rose petal soaps. They literally are like rose petal, and they dissolve in the tub. It's really nice.
Oh, that's super cute.
I'm all about that. So
no, I don't know about that. I don't know about
that. Well, you should get it for your wife.
You should. Corey, what's your self-care look like?
Self-care look like to me?
Ooh, I see the rose petals.
Trying to do exams.
Yes, Amanda.
Put the link up so I can buy some for my wife.
Yeah, right. Somebody dropped the link. Corey, what did you say your self-care looks like besides the Coke?
It's and peanut butter. I tried crunchy, but that didn't work.
I can't. I'm about to skip past you, Corey.
You put it right in the jar. You put it on a spoon.
Hey, man, I have my own personal jar.
I can't.
Yes.
All right.
Let me.
Corey, we skipping you. Look.
No, hold on. Okay.
All right, fine. Go.
Corey with this nut on nut crime here.
Because Corey had the whole little personal Athena's table. We won't talk about the Athena's table, Corey.
Right. Anyway, so I was at church the other day, and no.
Thank you. Bring it back.
No, what's self-care has totally changed for me, because quite honestly, and JP and Erica could probably attest to this, the stage often was my outlet.
Your outlet, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Going on stage, sometimes I get on stage and it's like a therapy session for me. And I don't go too deep in what's going on, but I turn that pain into laughter. Like that's an outlet for me. So I don't have that anymore. So what I try to do is take some moments to myself and but trying not to isolate. Mm-hmm. And I turn my attention and just playing and having a good time with my kids and making sure they feel good. But it's quite honest. It's difficult, man.
Who's the other comedian in here?
Erica Nolan out of Connecticut. You know, I'm
reading the name. Where's the name? I don't see her name.
She must have bounced out.
She probably dropped
out. Yeah, but JP, do you find that to be true?
Well, here's my thing with comedy. I've been doing comedy for 30 years. For me, comedy was more. No.
Okay.
I'm trying
it's
to
not
find.
Therapeutic.
You know what it is, because I don't want to be disrespectful to a career that has held me up and is I've lived off of for 30 years. But I sort of fell out of love with comedy a long time ago, and for me, I'm just running through the motions. For me, I didn't realize when you mean meditative self-care. I get up in the morning, and this is what I do just to break the monotony of what's going on. 4:30 in the morning, I go out and drive Uber, and I get back about 9 o'clock in the morning, just so that I can feel like something happened during my day. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then during the rest of the day, I can stay at home. But as far as running for comedy, man, I see more production stuff through cyber work now, and that's exciting me than the stage did. I'm missing the one-on-one interactions. I am missing the going from club to club, seeing people, hearing the street noise and all that kind of stuff. But the actual stage, and I do hear my comedy comrades going through it. You know, I've seen them get in front of their camera and try to perform comedy with nobody around. Corey, don't they look like complete fools sitting there going, so did you hear the one about? I'm sitting there going, bro, one of the main elements of comedy is the interaction.
It's the audience, the people.
So I haven't missed it like that, but I have missed just the outside. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think, Corey, I don't know if you read that article that we shared where like the feelings that we're feeling right now is grief. Did you read that article?
No, I haven't read it.
We shared an article with the organization where the things that we're missing and we're yearning for, that connection, if we view it through like the 5 stages of grief, like, we were afraid of it, we tried to deny it, we tried to bargain with it. Like right now we're working from home. And I think, once we get into that acceptance stage of realizing that, these next couple of weeks, months, I'm hearing things won't go back to normal until November, right? Until we get to acceptance, like this stuff is going to be hard for us. So I appreciate everyone that shared what their self-care looks like. I asked that question, and I asked the second one, have you been practicing self-care in the past 14 days? And I think the poll showed that the responses were a little bit like, maybe 62% of you guys were practicing self-care, but 40%, all right, 63 and 38. And so The people that possibly scored or put no, I don't know if you guys want to share like why, what's getting in the way of practicing your self-care these past 2 weeks?
Well, for me, my self-care, prior to this whole pandemic, epidemic, whatever the hell, everybody's labeling something different, but prior to this, my self-care was going to get a foot massage.
Yeah.
You know, once a week. You know, I'm on my feet all day.
Can you tell us about?
No, Corey.
Corey, you're a pervert.
Not that type of time, Corey.
I will tell you that they do not use peanut butter on my feet.
Damn, you lost me. I'm exiting. I'm exiting.
But so that was a part of my self-care, and so I guess I do half of the self-care because my older sister is a police officer as well. So part of my self-care is laughing and joking with her about the foolishness that we deal with on the street.
Yeah.
So because I've been in quarantine for the last 14 days, she FaceTimes me every day at work, you know, so I can still feel a lot of the foolishness. And I just had to laugh hysterically the other day because some guy walked up to her cruiser and explained to her that there was a guy on the ground behind a building, in his words, with his dick out.
Corey, you got over there that quick?
See what had happened was
Corey running up on your sister's
saving the world, one smile at a time. That's what I do.
I was on FaceTime with my sister, so of course I didn't have my professionalism because I laughed out loud, and you know, she kind of like covered the phone real quick, and you know, she was like, I gotta go, and so she hung up, and I had to call her later on that night when she got home because her department has already switched to 12-hour shifts.
Wow.
So that alone is killing her. But when she got home that night, I called her and I said, I just want to be sure that I heard what I think I heard. She said, yeah, you heard what you thought you heard. And I was like, well, was it true? She goes, yeah.
Yep. Oh my God.
Okay.
Just tell me what town it was. Was it Dorchester?
No.
She's trying to. She's trying to find him.
I know where that was.
She can take an Uber over there.
Nope.
But she's not.
Wait a minute.
I heard about that one.
Dolores said she heard about it.
See, mental health is important.
Dolores, where do you work?
I know one of my friends is a cop in that district. So I heard about that call. He was laughing about it.
Well, my sister is a Cambridge police officer, so this happened in Cambridge.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Really? The People's Republic?
My hometown. That's where I grew up. So let's not talk too bad about Cambridge.
Wow. I would have never thought Cambridge.
Dolores, what part of Cambridge?
Oh no.
What part of Cambridge?
No, I'm from Mattapan. One of my friends works in Cambridge, and there's a police officer over there.
Oh yeah.
That's why I heard about it, because he was laughing about it. I was like, oh my God. I said, of course. I said, okay. I was like, oh my God. I said, well, at least you all get to enjoy your 12-hour shifts. It was a good call. It wasn't a hysterical one.
Well,
if it was Cambridge, it was probably a dissertation.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, JP. I'm sorry, man. I've reached for that one.
You did. Too much. Who else wants to share why self-care might have been hard for them these past 2 weeks?
I just feel like these days go by really quick, and I mean, I try to do self-care by like trying to work out and stuff like that, but I also have all these projects that I done started in the house, so it's like I'm freaking myself out by doing it, you know, doing all the projects. And then again, like a lot of people are calling me, you know, with their problems and stuff, and I can't do anything, you know, so it's just kind of like stressful, you know. So pretty much that's it. So I kind of just do what I gotta do, but the days go by so quick, I feel like, you know. And so I just been taking my CBD stuff, and you know.
Okay. Just turn up, goddammit.
You do the oil?
I'm so joking. I'm joking. But anyway, yeah.
She's joking because she know that's a cop in the room. She like this. Oh, that's an officer? No.
What's your address again?
We're in Cambridge.
I forgot to start by saying this is a safe space. Dang, Corey, you threw me off because you had me plugged in the middle. I usually start it with this is a safe space, what we talk about here.
If you're on Facebook Live, though.
Ain't that
Good point. And Corey recording it.
Thank you for reminding me. I was about to talk about my heroin addiction.
We didn't run through none of that stuff. Dang.
Hey, I got my edibles.
I can't. Look, I think the fact that everyone on this call is prioritizing self-care, but also has the awareness of what's getting in the way is amazing, because you guys are much further along in the process than a lot of people I engage with, you know? I asked about the 2-week duration because, you know, we talked a little bit about how COVID has made us sad, and, you know, I've heard some people that I've connected with use the word depression, and I think Corey wanted me to equip you guys with just a little bit of insight in regards to, okay, how can I tell whether or not I might be feeling depressed? And I think, you know, there's a diagnostic test that you could take on the Mental Health of America website where they ask you about 5 questions over the past 2 weeks. And it's in the areas of interest and appetite and sleeping. One of the questions is, have you been having a hard time sleeping over these past 2 weeks? I don't know about you guys, but I wake up in the middle of the night. I'm so stressed out thinking like, is it Sunday? Is it Tuesday? Did I do that? Did my kid wake up to get online? Right? There's like so much stuff going on that I am having a hard time sleeping, but I still get up and I still function. And I think that's the last thing you guys need to pay attention to. Like if you're thinking you might be depressed, is whether or not your sadness or your irritability with sleeping or your lack of appetite is getting in the way of you being able to get up and take care of your day-to-day. So I think I also want to touch a little bit on anxiety. Like we started this conversation with the things that we're worried about, the things that like we fear, right? The things that we might be ruminating over or obsessively thinking about. Just yesterday, I spent like maybe an hour and a half watching the COVID reports. And I was like, oh shit, this state, oh damn, how many people? I call my mother, I call my sister, and then like I got to my cousin and she was like, girl, cut it out. Like you told me last week, don't give it too much energy. Focus on what you can control, right? And the things that we can control is, you know, our bubble baths with our rose petals, you know what I'm saying? Our working out, our laughing with our sister, you know, those are the things that we can control. And I think, go ahead, Corey.
Peanut butter, go ahead.
Peanut butter, yes. We can control whether or not we have chunky peanut butter at the house.
Watch it go sold out now.
I know, right? I'm not even going to be able to, making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich is my self-care, Corey, and you just ruined it for me. So thank you for that.
Namaste. Namaste.
And then I couldn't, the last part, I couldn't not be on Corey's comedy get-together meetup without highlighting the fact that what we're doing right now is self-care, laughing and connecting with each other, right?
Yeah.
Leaning into humor is a protective factor that a lot of us have. It's one of our defense mechanisms that, you know, sometimes as a people, we need to laugh about things that we're experiencing just to endure, right? Just to get up, just to make it through the day. Because we go through some shit as people of color, right? Or as women, or as just, you know, folks that have to navigate this world. And so laughter is definitely something that, you know, keeps us safe, right? And so I just want to thank Corey for creating this space, for allowing me the time to come in here and talk to you guys briefly about knowing how to, you know, recognize if you're stressed out. Like we all know, somebody on the call, tell me how you know when you're there, when you're stressed. How do you show up? You start sweating?
I start sweating. I get antsy.
Yeah.
For me, I get jittery. And I say that I have to actually talk to myself and be like, calm down, Jay, calm down. That's when I get in the car and I'll just drive. Maybe even if I drive for just an hour, just so that I can see stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
Anyone else know when they're stressed out?
I get real nasty.
Ooh.
Whoa. Hey.
I knew these two was going to come in.
What's your address?
Let's clarify, Cynthia. What does next?
Okay.
Be real slow with it. Tell us real slow.
No, Corey.
Let me turn off the lights.
Sorry.
I'm a Scorpio, so second she said that I get like this.
I'm a Scorpio too.
I'm a Gemini, so I flip back and forth really easy, but my whole mood changes. Like I just get, you know when I'm there.
Yeah, irritable.
Same here.
Sweating. We have irritability.
Yep.
You're Gemini too?
Yep. Same here.
Wow.
Same thing.
Cynthia, you had me at you flip back and forth.
I can't. You know what? How do I turn Corey's camera off?
I'm gonna turn my mic off.
Does anybody get like tension in their necks when they're stressed out, or like body aches? Yep.
I definitely do.
Nope, I just see red.
You see red? Yep.
I see red. So you gotta get out of my
JP.
You gotta get out of my face.
Don't blame that on me. You brought these people together. I'm just here. No, good. I want to tell you how I feel. Good. I'm listening though. I'm very.
No. I think I just wanted to make sure you guys could, recognize like what stress looks like. And I think you guys already are equipped with the tools on how to respond to it. And then I think when I talk about self-care and we can go to do some like question and answer and stuff like that, we just need to try our best to resist it, right? We just need to make sure like we don't get to that level, especially during COVID, when we all in the house, when all we can really control is our emotions and how we respond to something.
Let me ask y'all a question. Here's a question. Here's when I start to get antsy. When the house start lacking something. Like we've been in here for like 3 weeks now. So like say if the food starts to get a little bit low, we gotta go food shopping. When my daughters ask if they need to get something, we gotta go get this. When something needs to get done, that's when it like the anxiety will turn up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's not because I don't believe it's not there when I get there. It's the fact that when I get there, the fight for it is incredible. Like I'm like, relax, people, relax. So here's another thing that's making me sick to my stomach too. And let me see if this is not just New York. People, clean up your gloves in your law.
Amen.
Just throwing it everywhere.
Oh my God, that in itself makes me sick.
That spreads it.
Because they're going to start giving people tickets for that. They're going to start giving people tickets for that. I heard on the TV because I have a whole bunch of gloves across the street from my house, but I heard that they was going to start giving people tickets for that.
Yeah, they're supposed to be starting to do it.
How are you going to ticket somebody? I mean,
they're supposed to be doing it at the
if you see them,
if they see you do it, they're gonna run up on you.
If you see something, say something. Say something.
Telling you, put your gloves on the ground.
Listen, if the cops asking questions, listen.
I don't know if the police are gonna start getting posted in the grocery parking lots, and the police are gonna say it. I don't know how they're gonna do it.
I don't know either, but they did say it on the news.
Yeah. Well. Let me say this. For us, we're being told. I gotta say this so that I don't.
I was like, "Oh, we about to get the real tea." Yeah.
Hold on, Cynthia. Before you say anything, this is live. So
yeah, that's why I stopped myself. but to say it correctly, we're being told to be smart about initiating ourselves for anything.
Right.
So we're not really initiating for anything. We're doing our jobs, but
here's the thing. Our people need petty police. We need the petty police because we had this, I don't care, I'm gonna do what I want to do and blah blah blah. But sometimes the things that we do that's so petty, it it chips away at what's right and what's wrong. So we need you to tell them people that you see throw a pair of gloves on the floor, you need to ticket them. You know why? Because they'll get in their little circle of friends and be like, hey, they gave me a ticket for throwing mine on the floor. And now that's 8 other people that knows, don't throw it on the floor.
But isn't littering still against the law? So y'all
I know.
Well, this is more than littering, because now you're contaminating. Now this is
right.
There's a lot of other things you can tack on to this ticket other than just littering.
Right.
But it's just
because it's germs. It's germs. You're wearing the gloves because of COVID, and if you touch something and you don't know that you touched it, you can't see COVID on your gloves.
Right.
So you're taking them off and you're throwing them on the floor. So
I would say another part of that is just as helpful as people like Cynthia, and thank you so much for doing the work that you're doing, because I can never I can carry a gun, but it would be behind me. It wouldn't be in the side, and I wouldn't have a badge. I tried
with his peanut butter.
I tried to put it. I tried to put it in the front one time, but that was just not comfortable for me. But anyway, but another way we can handle it, I think, in this have an even bigger impact, is to continue to educate people about what they potentially are doing. I think, just like JP was saying with the petty police, I think one of the problems we have as people of color, we have gotten to the place where we are uncomfortable, not necessarily calling people out, but informing people of what they're actually doing. Because, back in the day, everybody's heard this. Everybody heard this story, had experienced this. If you did something wrong when you were a kid, you had 5, 6 adults before you got home that would chastise you about it. Where that doesn't exist now. And this whole thing, I think one of the main influencers of the COVID virus spreading so fast within the Black community is a lot of us were either not educated about it or were miseducated about it, which is causing it to spread. Just like these people throwing gloves on the ground is probably contributing to it too.
Well, think about it. Where was you raised in? What barn was you raised in that
a pack of wolves drag you up? That's what I'm wolves.
That you just throw it on the floor. Like, even if it wasn't in the times we living in, bruh.
Jay, but you got to think about it. A lot of the young people who are adults today were 90s babies.
But
and
Corey,
we lost a generation in the 90s. Not an entire generation, but a lot of people that I know were struggling with drugs, myself included. And a lot of the kids that came out of that weren't raised. They were pretty much raising themselves, so they didn't have those people giving those influences. That's just my little moment right there.
Or their grandmother was raising them, or they were birthed to a young mother, and we know what happens with young people when they're born to young parents. So.
So here's the thing: I can't even buy that excuse, because trash goes in the trash can.
And I was taught that.
What do you think the trash can is for?
Or leave a Shaw's bag in your car for trash.
Yeah.
Thank you. I do.
But Corey, I can't go thing because where I work for Brockton Housing Authority, and the office is in a elderly and disabled high-rise building. We see the visiting nurses and the PCAs, when they leave, they go through the 2 doors and they take those gloves off and they just drop them in the parking lot. And they're our age, so they know better. And especially they're in healthcare. So they're coming out of the building.
Not an excuse.
On the ground. So like if our the cleaning lady happens to be outside doing the grounds, she makes them go back to pick it up. And then
good.
In on them, like, especially better. But we have, plenty of PCAs and nurses come in, and I'm looking out the window because they have, when we do have to go into work, we're behind locked doors. We can't be near people. So if they have to slide paperwork underneath, I have to Lysol it, gloves, the whole 9 yards. But I'm looking out the window, and all you see is gloves all over the place, all over the parking lot, all around the building. It's nothing but gloves, and it's from the visiting nurses and dropped around. It's not the residents. It's the medical professionals that are doing it.
Oh my God.
I ought to know better.
Listen, that's why I couldn't be a cop right now. Not at this time. Let me tell you, a lot of this little petty stuff would be I'll come back in the office with 40, 50 tickets for stupidity.
Listen, I'm the queen petty, so I'll definitely be hired.
And they
can't.
Well, I'll tell you, prior to all this, if you littered in front of me, you were gonna pick it up. And I'll tell you, I pulled somebody over on Blue Hill Ave near the fake fried chicken place because the idiot.
She said fake fried chicken.
See, now I'm gonna have to go drive down Blue Hill Ave.
I want to know it's fake fried chicken.
Chicken, yeah.
The one near Ali's on Blue Hill Ave.
We know she ain't talking about Slade's because Slade.
No. Slade's got crack chicken.
Boston fried chicken.
Yes, that's it. The fake fried chicken.
Boston fried chicken.
I think I got a witness. Just put his hand up.
You already know how I feel about Slade's chicken.
But this idiot threw a box, you know, those individual meals, a box of Kentucky Fried Chicken out their window. And I pulled the car over, and you know, the driver got nasty with me and was like, well, I didn't throw it out. Well, you're the one driving the car, so either you have your passenger get out and pick it up, or you're the one who's getting the ticket. It's that simple. And
no, that's right.
So the passenger got out and picked up the containers, and I was like, you got mashed potatoes and stuff on the ground. Pick that shit up too. Like, get it up. You know, I don't know where you live, but you're not going to litter in my neighborhood. So pick it up or, you know, take the ticket. It's one or the other. So, you know, I mean, I'm sure it's a little humiliating for them to scrape mashed potatoes up off of Blue Hill Ave, but I bet you they didn't litter no Kentucky Fried Chicken out the window no more.
I know that's right.
Why do I feel like mashed potatoes right now?
I am that officer. However, with what's going on now, I'm not approaching anybody that I don't really have to, especially being in quarantine right now. I'm just not doing it. I'm not putting myself in that situation. You know, if I have to do my job, I'm going to do my job. But for something petty like that, that's not enough for me to jeopardize my family bringing that crap back home too. So
are you saying I could potentially rob a bank with a cough and a sneeze? Is that what you're trying to?
Corey, bye.
Well,
you go on with a cold. All you have to do is go on with a cold. I swear to God.
Give me all your money.
Well, they'll know who you are because you have to make an appointment to go into most banks now. Like you can't you have to make an appointment. Yeah, you gotta make an appointment to go into the bank.
Wow.
So you can try it if you want to. They know who you are.
A mess.
Because you got to wear a mask anyway. You got to come in there like this anyway. You got to come.
No, but for real, to that point, Corey, when you guys heard we had to wear masks, where I was like worried for my son's father going outside with a mask on, like just being a tall black man. I was like, he can't be out there wearing no mask. I was like, handkerchief, no, let's get him some other ones.
How silly is it that they are now even designing masks, designer masks, to put on your face? Psychologically, this COVID beat us. Like this, there's so many things that have beaten us. Like when I walk outside and I see a whole community of black folk with masks on their face, I'm just waiting for the news report. I'm waiting for the Citizens app to say 4 masks. I'm just waiting.
You know it's coming.
It's coming.
Well, the sad part is, like you were saying, like my son is 6'6". And before he wouldn't even wear it. But now he's just like, you know what, Mom, the cops would kill us anyways. So why would I put a mask on my face for them to kill me quicker?
Hey, Dolores, wow. I'm sorry to break in, Dolores, but tell your short son, come on, Corey, let's tell him how tall we are.
Yeah.
We gonna break in that 6'6", like we was gonna go, ooh. Good, Corey, tell him how tall you are.
You got the tallest comedians in the world on this.
I'm 6'8".
Yeah.
I'm 6'8".
6'6".
I'm only joking, Dolores. I'm only joking.
You know,
that's my phone.
He don't want to do it.
But Dolores, I also need you to tell your son that he can't follow all of the crap that's happening with police everywhere else.
Right. And I'm like, we grew up in Dorchester and Mattapan. Like, it ain't about that. You need to put the mask on, you're asthmatic, and you're saving your life. Point blank. Stop following stereotype.
This goes back to a discussion about what the new norm is going to look like, or if there's going to be a new norm.
Like, there's going to be a new norm.
Oh, there's going to be a new norm.
Right. But for black people, the norm is, as always, is going to be different than for other folk.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to have to learn and how to adapt to it as we go along. And I think more so than anything else, when you talk about the stress, when I look at the things that we've gone through over the past couple of weeks, those are the things that have been really stressing me. Like I have been looking at the fact that when I'm wearing a mask and I go to a store, I automatically say, am I going to get looked at differently? You know
yes, you will.
And it's more so not the, it's more so not am I going to get followed around, but then I realized like I'm in the store with a mask on. Like this is something, I never did. And then hold up a second.
Will be a mask but no hood.
Right. But see, you have the mask on, but then they add this other niche to it just this past week when they say that most of the people who are dying from this are people of color. So you have non-people of color looking at people of color like we automatically are infected.
Hey, yo, let me ask you this. Let me ask this room this. Are we crazy for thinking this way? Have we become crazy in our hypersensitive mentality on how race is pointed to us? Because I say to myself, just what you said, Corey, the fact that we can sit here and go, yo, the mask and they're gonna kill us and it's coming back around. And you know, it's funny how the first round didn't affect Black people, but the second round of COVID particularly got our name written all over it, and it's gonna last a little bit longer. It's coming back for a second swing. Yo, we have history with this society. And when we say they, let's just throw it out there. When we say they, we don't know who the they is. They could be government, they could be big money, big corporations. We don't know who they is. If we knew who they is, then we can fight they, but we don't know. So when you hear people go, they, we don't know who they is. But when we say they, we have a history of them mistreating us, from Tuskegee, slavery, whatever you want to say, that I don't believe. Right. I don't believe what these guys are telling me. And for that, I sort of want to go rogue and go maverick and do what I want to do. But then I got to abide. You know what I'm saying? Because when you don't abide.
The issue here is, I am not surprised that Black people are being affected with this predominantly, because from the get-go, Black communities and communities of color do not have the same access to resources, healthcare, education, finances. So if you have a disease where Blacks have a heavy burden of comorbidities, that's other diseases, diabetes, you name it, why wouldn't we be the first off?
Yeah.
We're gonna get it more than anybody else because the resources aren't there for us to be healthier. Money and all of that isn't built into the communities we live in.
I never believed that it wasn't airborne. The second I heard COVID and it was the flu, people go, oh, it's not airborne. You got to be out of your mind, bro. You got to be out of your mind. I never believed that it wasn't airborne. All of these things that are coming around now, when I find out who the they and the them is, I'm kicking their ass.
Let us know. That's what I just said. I think something we're talking about is collective trauma that we're going through right now. I think when we as a group said this is the new normal, we won't go back to the way we used to live. Most of the time that's what happens when you experience something traumatic. You know, we touched upon Tuskegee and slavery and things that we as a people have experienced. Like, it's real. However, I think, you know, I want to ground us in some gratitude, right? Because we have this knowledge of what our people have gone through and how we've turned to, you know, our faith and our hope and our self-care and each other, right? And we've equipped ourselves to, you know, tap into that resiliency, right? Like, us as a people, if we can shift our mindset and hold on to the fact that, like, we've overcome, granted, COVID, we don't know. We've heard it has multiple agendas. The president called it a genius the other day. Like, I was like, is this the type of energy we're giving this? Like, no, we need to come together and take care of ourselves.
He called it a genius?
Yeah, the way it's just shifting and like adapting and taking over like so much of the world. I don't know, but I can't give my energy to the fact that like our leadership isn't inept and allow the fear to consume me. Like, I think It's important for us to just take care of ourselves, you know? And I think from a mental health perspective, we spend too much time worried or feeding into fear. We will become anxious. We will become stressed. Our body will start releasing hormones that will attack our hearts. And that's why heart disease is so prevalent in our community. I don't know about y'all, but I eat when I'm stressed. And, you know, I've gained about 10 pounds since I've been in the house because I haven't found time for self-care. And diabetes is rampant in my family. So, like, as I'm managing all this, like, I need to keep, like, take care of me at the forefront, right? You know, take care of my family, but also make some time for myself. So I was really happy to hear that, you know, Dolores is trying to find 30 minutes to do the meditation, and Joanne, you're, you know, 3 times a week taking a bath, and, you know, we're trying to work out. And Corey has this week, not a bubble bath with her roses. Corey's a mess. Corey has this weekly space for us to get together.
Also, with your insurance, you can't do, if anybody does see a therapist or it's on the back of your insurance card or whatever, you can do teletherapy. Your therapist will call you on the phone, and most insurance companies are waiving the copay.
That is so good.
Therapist once a month or bi-weekly. You can see them once a week on the phone, or you could talk to them twice a week on the phone, whatever it takes to get through your anxiety. Because as sometimes Black people, we tend not to want to, you know, you don't want to be perceived as crazy with seeing a therapist. There's nothing wrong with seeing a therapist. And, you know, sometimes when your anxiety is running rampant, you know, they kind of do the question checklist and they let you answer it yourself, and it helps to calm you down. So, you know, you can always use that avenue as well, is to reach out to your therapist and schedule, you know, weekly or bi-weekly or whatever it is that you need, in addition to your bubble baths and, you know, your exercise or whatever it is. Because your mental health, once that goes, everything else goes.
Exactly.
Here's a healthy. Okay.
On top of all that, our kids are watching too.
Yeah.
And so when you're anxious, they feed into that. I know I was anxious with my first, and he has the same tendencies as me, that once I'm anxious, he feeds off of that. And so for his sake,
how I'm not getting Mommy needs to have her time. I know that's right.
They already know this is mommy juice. I may have one that pours it, but they understand that mommy needs some quiet time to just kind of, because what I don't want is that energy in them, and they need to see anxiety, angst, whatever you're calling it, be managed, and how to manage that. So, yes, JP, I hear you.
No, I agree.
For the sake of your kids.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Or even for the sake of
the kids. I can't lose it. I have to keep it pushing.
That's kind of, it's that, first off, I agree with you 100%. And that's kind of the unfair part about this right now, because you have to keep it together. I had to actually, like about a week or so ago, I sat down and I explained, because I have all daughters, and I explained to my daughters, if you see a vulnerable,
my bad. I can't.
That if you see the vulnerable side of me, that doesn't mean that I'm weak. That means that I'm dealing with something. So that this way, but I have a strong wife, and my daughters definitely picked up that trait from my wife, that I almost feel like a sucker around here when they go, "What's wrong with you? Sit down," you know. But that's important, that the kids learn how to manage anxiety, because if they see you bug out, then they bug out. You know what I'm saying?
Bug out.
Right. So I agree.
I think it's a good place.
Who are self-quarantining alone, it's not quite as simple, because like my son's an adult and he lives somewhere else. So he's not here with me. I have the anxiety of, okay, he's over here. He got laid off for the first time in his life, like, you know, you're trying to parent, you know, through the phone, like, did you apply for unemployment? You know, he's going to be a father in August. My son just turned 23, and then his girlfriend just turned 20. They're expecting a baby. So it's like, you know, I'm trying to, you know, run into the store 20 items less. I'm trying to pick up something for me. Then I'm like, okay, well, let me help them out over there. You know, I go to drop something off, and he's, you know, he's a kid who likes to like go like this to my face and touch my cheeks. And I'm like, don't touch me. Don't. You know? that? He's like, I can't hug you, nothing. I'm like, no, because I don't know if I'm asymptomatic. I don't want you to go in the house, infect you, because, he has asthma, she's pregnant, so you think about that. The disconnect with your family, because I come from a large family. I'm one of 10. My parents are still alive. So like if I have to drop something off to my parents, it's like put it in front of the door. I back up to 6 feet, and then my parents are like screaming from the house, "We love you, Tanya. We love you."
I know.
I can't hug my parents. I haven't hugged my parents in a month. My father's not an emotional person, and even he's yelling out like, "Hey, I love you. I love you." I'm like, am I supposed to die, God? Because he don't never say that word.
You're not.
I do want.
You're quarantining by yourself. It's very hard to try to stay motivated. It's like I'm to the point I'm watching like Asian movies on Netflix so I can read something.
Hey, how about I've accepted the people that I've blocked off of Facebook. I've accepted them.
I made new friends. I can't.
Let me see what bullshit that.
Quarantining alone. At least people who have their family, even if your kids are getting on your nerves, or your husband or whatever, your significant other, you have somebody else there that you can go get that human touch from. Like the only thing we're rolling over to who are self-quarantining is like a pillow. I'm like, Stuart Scott over here, this is the cool side.
I have to agree with Tanya. Same
like,
yes, I have to agree with Tanya too.
Well, how's that? I'm single because I choose to be life.
That's right.
I can't. That's next week's. That's next week's topic.
Oh yeah, that's word.
But actually, this is a good transition because
a few minutes at a time. Like I'll be in a relationship.
One of the things we talk about, we started talking about kids and stuff, like how to deal with that. Actually, next week, Dr. Prosper, she's a psychiatrist. Her name is Dr. Prosper, Vanessa Prosper. She works with youth in psychiatrics. So she's coming on.
I thought you said Dr. Prostate. I said who?
No, not him. That's the virtual thing we're doing in 2 weeks. I got somebody coming on.
I can't.
But no, she's going to come on and give advice on work, how to talk to young kids about dealing with things like this. Not just young kids, but teenagers as well. So,
well, I want to do this. Well, I want to say this real quick when Joanne was saying that. Let me ask you ladies this, and Corey as well. What are you doing to, like, what hobby are you doing to keep your mind like calm?
Music, reading, occasionally dancing,
cleaning.
I cleaned my whole house today.
Me too.
Clothes and everything.
I did see my closet, but what's today? I don't even know. What's today?
Saturday. The 11th.
So on last Sunday, my family, we did a virtual paint party.
Oh, nice.
So we were all on, the screen, and then, we had the painting instructor on YouTube, and we all painted. And
so y'all all just had canvases and paint just sitting around your house?
No. My nephew had went to and got.
I was only joking.
No,
but I was like, yeah, they did.
Did you have brushes or were you finger painting?
No, No, I'm gonna show you my painting in a second.
Don't.
I can't.
Wow.
Corey said I got enough. Corey said I got enough of that on my refrigerator. I'm good.
No.
It was just fun.
You want a star? You want me to give you a star?
You gotta go far to get it because I'm full of my damn room, bro.
Get you a smiley face.
Yeah.
But this is my painting.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, that's nice.
That's dope.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, you ain't do that.
All that shit you was talking, Corey.
You ain't do that from no cold. You ain't do that from no cold bed. You've been working on that for a minute.
That shit for a song.
No, I promise you. I show you the original painting, you'll be like, okay, yeah, that's a little long.
Nah, you went to Times Square and got that done.
I actually think I see a couple of numbers on there. I think that's a paint by numbers piece. I think that's what that was.
Paint by numbers. I like paint by numbers.
Did you see how all of us changed our? We was like, oh. That's beautiful. Oh, wow.
I think you found a calling.
No, I promise you, when I show you what the original painting looks like, well, the problem was is we could not get the colors to blend properly.
Okay.
So it's really supposed to.
Listen to like we gotta get the colors to blend together. Listen.
Bob Ross, Bob Ross over here, right?
Play too much. They're playing with the police officer.
I'm gonna put a little burn.
I know, right?
Karma's gonna come back. The karma's gonna come back for
a
y'all.
couple of clouds. The clouds up in the trees, behind the trees.
You need a little bit of
assholes. Oh my goodness.
Well, if y'all want a really good laugh, the comedians, and I don't know if you've been seeing this, Corey, we've had a steak contest, cooking a steak contest. Have you seen us?
Oh.
So it started off with Floyd. Floyd cooked the steak and talked about no one can cook a steak better than him. Then Jackson cooked the steak and they doing it live. And Jackson was like, my steak was the best. I cooked the steak and they tore my steak up, bro. They was like, where you get that steak from the dollar store? They tore my little steak up. That's a beautiful picture.
That's dope. It does look just like it though. That's dope.
But this is the original.
But that's nice. That's real nice.
They're both good. I like yours better.
You did good. You did good, Mama.
No, you did real good, Cynthia. That's nice.
Yeah. You can put that in the
better
museum.
Better than I could ever do.
No. If you look at the mountains, they look like mountains. Mine looks like a gray smokestack.
Okay. The problem with taking compliments, girl. Take these compliments and run.
Compliments. It's good.
Too much. Has anyone else developed hobbies while being at the house?
So I've tried to look at this whole thing as
the hot plate.
I can't. Go ahead, Rochelle.
Okay, I'm gonna the hot plate.
I'm gonna cook live.
I've tried to look at this as this is the only time that it is so slow that I'm gonna come out of this better than I went in. So if that means taking all the free content classes available, I'm gonna need to jump on that. So that's how I'm looking at it. So there's like free photography classes, there's free project management classes. I'm taking it all.
Is
I'm coming out of here with something.
Yeah, she's showing her new hobby.
Yep.
I can't.
Hobby. Go ahead, girl.
Since people showing their hobbies they picked up during the COVID.
My painting wasn't my bike.
Corey, we live on your Facebook.
No, I have to get the rest of my steps. I'm in a contest, so I'm still listening. I gotta get my steps. I'm in the contest.
Before midnight, I used to be in one of those.
Yeah, we had
step challenge.
Yep.
We had that in the office. Are you guys going to any virtual happy hours? Was this supposed to be a happy hour, Corey? Was we supposed to be? I'm over here sipping tea.
Yeah, this is exactly what it needed. This is exactly what it needed to be.
I don't know what to say after watching her on this Nordic track.
It's an elliptical.
We doing hey.
Oh. Well, I know, Corey, it's way past my bedtime. I don't know if you guys have any questions that you might have. I really appreciated this time talking with you guys. I hope you learned something. Sorry I didn't do a PowerPoint.
No, we didn't.
Not at all, because we would have paid attention.
Okay, good.
It's about the conversation.
I want to apologize for you seeing another side of Corey tonight that you weren't expecting.
You know something? I only know Corey to be a well-reserved, quiet, but now he put his dick in peanut butter?
I'm hoping that is not true. But it's a judgment-free zone.
Yo, I'm mad.
I think I got 3 meetings with Corey next week. I'll be on the Zoom like, oh, Lord.
I am mad that she said, I hope it's not true. Listen. This is not true. I do not want to know about Corey putting his dick in peanut butter.
Yo, during our meeting, our next meal, make sure I have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
I can't. Corey, are you coming to Mindful Monday?
Yeah, I'll be there.
So one thing that I started at work is Mindful Monday, 8:45 a.m. We're going to do 15 minutes of meditation. And so The main reason why I brought it to work is because I need to prioritize my self-care, and I'm so committed to my job while I'm in the house, because I don't know about y'all, but I feel like they watching me like, is she on the couch?
Yeah.
Is she organizing her cabinet? And so I just be on the computer all the time, and I was like, oh my God, I need to.
I keep my laptop closed.
Oh my God, I finally found like a little nook under my little office area where I'm gonna like hide it. You know, after this, I hope to not open it until 8:45 on Monday, where we're gonna do some deep breathing. But I just, you know, I'm just really grateful that I got to meet you guys virtually. I pray that you guys stay healthy and stay just centered. And, you know, there's some resources that I could share with Corey that he can email you guys.
Definitely.
The depression test, you know, there's a whole deep breathing exercise that's online that I could share with you guys. And then, you know, Corey, feel free to share my contact information because I would love to stay connected. I'm thinking about doing a cute little newsletter to mail out to people so folks can do self-care Saturday. You know, I see it. I see it.
Yeah, I'm more of a Jiffy man myself, though.
Shauna, you have to ignore JP and Corey.
The both of them. But before I hop off, are there any questions? Corey, we're Q&A time.
We thank you so much. We thank you, you know, for coming in, you know, talking to us, and, you know, because I mean, it is hard times these days, and you know, some of us is like, oh, what to do now? So, you know, it's just nice to come in and do this, and thank you, Corey, for always putting it together. Very nice, very nice.
I love it.
I have to agree too with Amanda. I mean, I think our community doesn't take mental health as seriously as it should, and it's such an integral. I think it's more important than your old physical, because once your mental's right, everything kind of just falls into place.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, you know, I appreciate the fact that you took the time to talk with us, despite the foolishness and the shenanigans from these two right here.
It was fun. It's all about balance. You need that in your life.
Listen, this is the last time we're going to have two dudes in this, but I say all this to say that, you know what, mental health is important. I mean, the isolation, the not being able to hug your family, that it bugs me. I mean, I have older parents, and when I go visit, here's your stuff, blah, 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 I gotta go. And I want to hug my mom. I haven't hugged her in almost a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look how we don't know how to say nothing. We like this.
My mom's in Baltimore, Maryland, so I haven't hugged, seen, or nothing, because they live in Baltimore, Maryland. So
I know.
myself, you know, so it's like.
I mean, but even with that, we have technology. Like now WhatsApp fools, because, you know, I tell her, call me on WhatsApp. I want to see her face. I want to see her expression. What's going on, right? Because it's a toll on them, because it's just her and my dad. 24/7.
I know. I pray for my mother all the time. One last thing I want to leave you guys with is, you know, we talked about collective trauma. There's something called post-traumatic growth, right? Where once you go through something traumatic and you tap into your resiliency, you then have this like shift on your perspective of how you view the world, right? You have a greater sense of appreciation for it. So we're all talking about these relationships with our parents. Somebody was sharing that their dad was like, I love you too. And they've never been emotional before. Like, this experience might change who we are and how we show up with others. And I hope we could just keep that same energy once we get through this, right? Because, you know, when you go through crisis and people come together and it's like, I got you, and then you go back to normal, it's like, where those people go, you know? So I encourage us to hold on to the growth and the healing and the possibilities that are on the other side of this, you know?
I post a week or so ago that in a relationship, when a relationship hits turmoil or a little buckle, if the relationship can last through that turmoil, it comes out the other side stronger. That's what this is going to do. This is the silver lining in this. The silver lining in this is that, like, even if we right here in this room saw each other after this thing is, there's sort of like a bond now. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I remember, you're right. You was from the room that night, right? Oh my, you know what I'm saying? So we as a culture, as a society, as a people, once we get over this hurdle, the strength that we're going to exude in the future in our new norm is going to be crazy. Like we never thought in our lifetime we would be going through a pandemic. You know, no. Born in the 70s like I was, we've been through so many different things in our lifetime. End up here, like this is where I'm getting taken out at. I lived through 9/11. I lived through.
You're not getting taken out. Be mindful.
No. I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just right. No, I'm just saying. You know,
we try to end on a positive.
But peanut butter. Speaking of which, I think it's a good transition. I want to thank everybody for joining in, especially those who are first time joining on this. I'm doing this every week. I'm trying to get a special guest to come on. I hope you guys feel comfortable coming back. Thank you so much, Shauna, for being a part of this, as always. And we'll connect next week at work.
Unfortunately.
But next week, again, we're going to have the doctor come on board to talk to us about working with kids. So if you know somebody, especially their parents or single parents or what have you, invite them to come in. They can either join us on Zoom or they can look at it live on Facebook. The other thing I'll say is that the best for me is organic. Organic peanut butter has the oil that's at the top.
I can't. Bye, Corey.
All right, y'all have a good week. I'll see y'all later.
Take care, you guys. Nice meeting you.